Hey there, and welcome to our 2023 market forecast for the Dallas-Fort Worth home market. We're looking forward to 2023, the things that are coming with home prices, mortgage rates, all the things that you're wondering as we get into 2023. I'm Chase Hansen.
I'm Lori Gentry.
And we are a real estate team serving the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we're super excited to be here with you today to talk about this. So I think a great place to start would be a look back at 2022 and think through what changed, what was good, what was bad. So what have you seen this last year as you've served buyers and sellers?
Well, starting in 2022, it was a crazy, frantic market. Buyers were up against multiple offers. There wasn't enough inventory. Bidding wars. Buyers were having to bring 20 to 30,000 over to get a house that they wanted, and it may not have been the house exactly that they really wanted, but at some point they were like, "We've got to get a house," and they knew the interest rates were going to be rising, and they were trying to get in before they rose. They were offering to pay title policies, appraisal waivers, just having to bring a lot of extra money to get a home.
Yeah, I agree. The biggest shift is getting out of that crazy market. I mean, for me, I think both the good and bad of this last year is that market shift, right? Because at the beginning of the year, things were so crazy that it was a tight space for buyers and sellers. And now we've shifted the other direction where mortgage rates have gone up and prices have kind of stagnated a little bit. And we see things just shifting in a whole nother direction. And people have been facing a lot of uncertainty with that, which is a lot of fear and a lot of kind of a pause in the market. But I think as we move into this next year, that'll kind of settle down a little bit. Let's get into some of what 2023 we expect to see based on research, facts, the people who we trust to do all the homework for us. One of the biggest people that we've been listening to is Dr. Lawrence Yun, who is the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors. And he is always spot on. Like over the last several years, as we've listened to him, he saw this previous crazy market coming. He was right on there in ways that even other research firms kind of missed it. So we definitely trust his opinion. As far as, I guess, starting with mortgage rates, which is a big piece of affordability for people, he thinks we've seen the worst of it for mortgage rates. He doesn't expect us to get back to that 7%, and all the inflation numbers that we have been seeing come out, both in October numbers, November numbers, the most recent stats we have, all indicate that those rates are going to start ramping down over the course of this year, and he thinks that we're going to end the year in 2023 under 6% for our mortgage rates. And actually Redfin, who's usually a little bit more doom and gloom than Lawrence Yun tends to be, Redfin is actually right in the same boat, thinks the same things. They say they expect 30-year mortgage rates to gradually decline to around 5.8% by the end of the year, with the average 2023 home buyers rate sitting at about 6.1%. That's from Redfin. So this is a consistent prediction that we've been seeing, that mortgage rates are, we've seen the worst of it. The worst of it's behind us, and I think as that uncertainty leaves the market, I think buyers will start to return to the market a little bit. And I think as we see that, home prices will continue to hold firm, and we might even see home prices start to rise a little bit again over the course of the year, especially as we get into the hotter seasons into the summer.
Yeah, because they're predicting about a 1% increase next year. We saw 10% this year.
Yeah, this year, even as prices have kind of settled down a little bit from the height of the market, have still held strong. You may see all the doom and gloom stories in the news about, oh, the prices are dropping faster than it. I mean, hold your horses. At the end of the year, we're still 10% more value in homes than we started with in January. So that is double what you would expect in a typical year, even with the market correction that we've seen in the second part of this year. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And with home values, Dr. Yun expects, like you said, a 1% increase over the course of this year. But I was even reading this week, the National Association of Realtors ranks the Dallas-Fort Worth and Arlington area as number 3 on their list of markets that are going to outperform the rest of the country.
Because people are still moving here. They're moving here from other states. Not just people, but businesses are moving here. Whether it be for work or, politics, taxes. The fact that Texas is a great place to live, and it's more affordable as well. So we still have people coming in here, and a lot of the builders have slowed down building right now. And I can see this happening again, that people are there's not gonna be enough inventory. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I mean, National Association of Realtors thinks that our market will actually see a 5% improvement in the next year as far as prices
right,
go.
and
So,
people still have jobs.
yeah, DFW is a
Yeah,
very resilient area when it comes to the real estate market. You look at the reasons why people move, jobs high up there, quality of living for their family, being
need a
near
larger
loved
home.
ones. I mean, people are moving to this area for a reason. It's a
Right.
desirable place to live. We have two major metropolitan areas within an hour of each
Right.
other, and that just means there's a lot of resources and a lot of attraction to new people,
Correct.
which continues to make our market more resilient than your average market.
Well, and for buyers right now too, you don't have the frenzy that we had over the summer. You're not going to be, you shouldn't be up against the bidding wars that we saw this summer,
Yeah.
having to bring all these additional funds. And in fact, we've seen some sellers offering to pay seller closing costs or the concessions.
Yeah, this is probably the easiest point in the market for a buyer. Right
Yeah, the
now.
interest rates are higher than they were in the summer, but you can always refinance later. The old saying, marry the house, not the interest rate, it's very true.
Yeah, especially as all the experts are saying
You have
these
more
rates
choices.
are going to start decreasing over 2023 and into 2024. They expect rates to be even better than that. So I agree. And that actually is a great point for us to move into, like, what is the number one piece of advice that you would give to home buyers as they're thinking about moving in 2020?
Well, first of all, you need a good agent that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
You need to get pre-qualified through a good lender if you're looking to get a loan. And we've got great resources for you on that. So that's your first step. And then just going out to look.
I think
Yeah.
for me, I'd say start planning now. Like if you
Yeah.
are a person who's thinking about moving in 2023, start goal setting, start thinking through what are your affordability goals. If you've been waiting on mortgage rates, if you've been waiting on the market to shift in a particular way, think through what is the actual specific thing that you're looking for to jump in, because it might already be here and you're missing it.
Yeah.
Or it might be that you just are waiting for those rates to drop down to a specific point, and if you know that, and if you've already talked to an agent, if you've already talked to a lender, you're primed, you're ready, you can get into that market.
Yeah.
Because the people who are just waiting for, like, oh, I want to see prices drop 25%,
They're not.
that's just not coming. No
No.
experts think they are.
No.
And if you buy into the narrative of just doom and gloom news cycles
Waiting
that
for the
want
market
to
crash. No.
tell you that the market's going to crash in some radical extra way, no one who actually does the research expects that or
No.
thinks that's coming.
And in the meanwhile, you're still throwing away money on rent that could have been building equity.
Oh,
and
yeah.
real estate is still your largest hedge against inflation.
Yeah, and rent
It
is
always
rising.
runs the stock market.
Yeah.
Much safer.
Rent prices are rising faster
They
than
are
home
fast,
prices.
rising fast.
So if you think the way that home prices have been rising is painful, rent prices are not any easier, and they are rising at a
Right.
faster rate. So I'd say if you can afford it, it's always going to be in your best interest to have that asset that fights inflation and the things we've
Yeah.
been seeing these last years. We all know that we need a hedge against inflation.
Right.
All right, so what about sellers? So what would your biggest piece of advice be to sellers who are thinking about moving in 2023?
Again, get a good agent that can help walk you through what you need to do to make your house most attractive to a buyer. Cleaning out the clutter, and a good agent can show you knows what the market is around you and can run those numbers for you
Yeah,
and know where to price you correctly, so you're not sitting on the market an extra long time. Pricing it correctly, having it in great condition.
I know you've coached your clients a lot over the years in getting their houses ready with your interior design background and
Yes.
with your flipping and investing background. You've definitely, people come to you for advice on decorating their homes, and that's an invitation to the world as well. I think similarly, if you're looking to sell in 2023, you want to look for professionalism. You want to look for someone who you trust to coach you through the whole process.
Yes.
Because this market that we're heading into is not the market of 2020 and 2021. It's not the market where you can just put your house out there and it's going to raise
sit
60
a little
grand.
longer.
It's
So
going to
be
take
prepared
work,
for
it's
that.
going to take research, it's going to take professionalism, and you want people who you trust to actually guide you through that process You might not want to go for your cousin's daughter who just got out of college and got a real estate license. You want to look for someone who's a full-time agent, who's a professional. And if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I know we would love to help you.
Yes.
We love coaching people through that. We love walking with people through these big decisions, and we take a lot of pride in the amount of work that we put into our serving our clients. As a whole, as kind of a summary for this whole thing, the worst is over. I think the painful parts of the market are behind us, but the market isn't as clear cut as when we were in those extremes. So you want professionals who are serving you day in, day out, making sure that you get your goals, whether you're buying or selling. If you want to connect with us, if you are looking to move in 2023, even if you're thinking in like fall of 2023, it doesn't hurt to start those conversations now. Start thinking through your goals. We would love to connect with you. You can reach me at chasehansen@remax.net and
Lori Hansen at remax.net.
And we have contact info in this YouTube channel as well. You can also connect with us on Instagram at Hansen Realtors DFW, which is the Instagram account for our team. And yeah, we would love to serve you. Thanks so much for watching today. Check out the other videos on our channel. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And we would just invite you to share this video with a friend. If you know anyone else who's thinking of moving in 2023 or who's just curious about what the market's doing in 2023, we would love if you would pass this along to someone and pass along this great information to them as well. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.